Hey guys, what is happening? Yeah, so I just finished the show called Invincible, and I need to talk about it. Yeah, so welcome to the channel, everyone, guys. This is my first, I guess, TV show, movie. I mean, it's not a movie, but first TV show type review. Yeah, so I just finished Invincible just the other day, and dude, I'm still like, it's such a good show. I just wanted to take just a few minutes to talk about it with you guys. So first off, Invincible, it's a TV show, animated superhero TV show, only on Amazon Prime. It's the only way you'll be able to watch it. And it's made by Robert Kirkman, I believe, and he's the guy that made the Walking Dead series, or Walking Dead graphic novel that the series is based off of. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. And then at first glance, like when you're watching it, it's very much like it seems like you've seen these types of superhero shows before. It gives off a very like Justice League type animation. Kind of remind me of Justice League, Batman Beyond, those type of shows. And it's very much like it's got like their off-brand superhero shows. Like you got one that's like, oh, first off, real quick, this video will have spoilers in it. I'm sorry if you guys don't want spoilers. This is your chance to hop on out of here. But yeah, so the show is very, like, it kind of reminds me, at least it did for me, reminded me of like The Boys at first, where you got like a character that's a Superman type character, like Omni-Man, you got a Wonder Woman type character, you got a Batman type character. So you have like all these characters that you've kind of seen before already, but that's just at the surface level. Like once you start watching it, like, yes, my first episode, I was like, okay, so we got our Batman, we got our Superman, but it actually does a super great job at just being its own show. Like, I just can't even freaking. So first off, this TV show is definitely, rated M, I guess. What do they rate TV shows? It shows lots of blood, it swears, it has gore, and it is animated. So if that's not your thing, this might not be the show for you, but I'm telling you right now, it was freaking good. But just kind of talking about like the blood in the show, like, yes, it's very bloody, but I feel like it's not like over the top. I mean, some parts like are crazy, but it's like that wow factor. It's not like every 5 minutes you're just seeing blood and gore. It's very appropriate and it fits the story. So, dude, I just really liked it. So, first off, like all the voice acting in this is freaking top notch. You have, what's his name? J.K. Simmons as Omni-Man was a freaking perfect casting. Even his like facial character in the show, like I was like, oh yeah, that looks like J.K. Simmons. And then as I'm like hearing the voice, I'm like, wait a minute, that totally is him. And then like you look at all the other solid cast members. So kind of like the story is, you follow this new guy named Mark Grayson. He's just barely discovered his powers. And yeah, I'm trying not to say too much because I definitely still want you guys to watch the show. But basically, he's discovering his powers. He figures out that his dad, Omni-Man, is the bad guy. It's got a bunch of great characters. I really liked Robot. Had lots of plot twists in the show that I didn't necessarily see coming. So, like, for instance, like the whole Robot arc. Like you see him and you're like, oh, he's just a robot. And then at one point he releases these bad guys, and I was like, wait a minute, is Robot a bad guy? And then it turns out that Robot is not even a robot. He's a super smart dude that's like body's crippled, and he needs these guys' tech because they know how to make clones, and he needs that for a new body, and it's just freaking crazy. And then even like the fight scenes, like all the fight scenes are super good. Freaking every freaking scene with Omni-Man, dude, he freaking kills it, literally. Like he is just a beast. He's freaking insane. Kind of reminds you of like the reason I compared it to The Boys is because it was giving me Boys vibes, where you have like Homelander, who's like a Superman type character that's freaking insane. So Omni-Man is kind of like that, but he's a kind of like that mixed with like maybe Thanos type of mindset, where like he's doing it because he believes what he's doing is right. And basically what Omni-Man is doing is they're like a survival of the fittest type thing. So they go to these different worlds, and you either become part of what do they call it, like Viltrum. You either become part of Viltrum or they kill you off. And that's what Viltrum is they fought amongst each other until there was just only the strong left. And yeah, and then at the end, I'm drawing a blank here. Mark Grayson and his dad, Omni-Man, end up having to fight each other because this whole time Mark has no idea that his dad's a bad guy. Because at the very beginning, Omni-Man freaking just destroys what is the Justice League in this show. And this whole time you're trying to figure out why. Like, oh, is he being mind controlled? Is he being like blackmailed? Like, what is going on? And it turns out, no, he just wants to conquer Earth. It's pretty simple. And obviously Mark doesn't let that happen. Or kind of. See, I totally thought that Mark was like, he gets super angry, and I was like, oh yeah, he's gonna start throwing on some good punches. But at the back of my mind, I was like, I really hope that doesn't happen, because freaking Omni-Man has lived for what they say is 1,000 years, you know, because they age really slowly. And I was like, he's so experienced and Mark isn't. I'd be a little upset if Mark just started beating him up. No, dude, Mark doesn't even lay a hand on him. The whole end fight, dude, freaking Mark is just getting the crap beat out of him. And I freaking loved it. It was so good. And I really appreciated that. Animation for this, like I said, I think a little bit earlier, animation for this is top notch. I really enjoyed it. I really like the Batman Beyond type Justice League style from way back in the day. I freaking loved it. Another thing that I really liked that I wrote down was just like some of the attention to detail was really good. Like, for instance, there's this one scene where what's his name, Eternal, is like trying to gouge out Omni-Man's eyes. And he ends up killing him, but his eyes are super red, and then the episode kind of ends. Well, the whole next episode, because Eternal was trying to gouge out his eyes, because he's also super strong. Like, he's super strong. And like the whole next rest of the season, I think it's 2 episodes, maybe 1, is his eyes are freaking bloodshot the entire time. And I really appreciate that, because sometimes in animation shows and anime and stuff like that, like where something will happen to them and then a few episodes later, like they're totally fine. They're like, no, like literally just a second ago he had his eyes gouged out, and now like literally 5 minutes in the showtime he's better. So I really liked that attention to detail. Another thing that I really enjoyed was that, like, you see all these superhero movies and you see them being punched through walls, you see them fighting in cities, you see them like decimating these things, and you're like, oh, like what's happening to these people? Like, we're only seeing the superhero's perspective, and this one gets to show like some of the people's perspective. Like, Omni-Man freaking punches Mark mega hard, like he just flies like a torpedo into the city, and he takes out like this building's coming down, people are already dead, he sees blood everywhere on the ground, he sees bodies, limbs, and then he's holding it up and he's trying to save this girl, and then the building, Mark isn't able to hold the building, and it crushes down on top of him, and he looks over and he has like a severed arm in his hand. And it's just, I really like that, because that's something that I'm always like, yeah, there's no way they would have done that. And then, you know, it's like, oh yeah, you fight through a building, you're totally gonna kill everybody that's in that building. And this show does touch on that stuff, and I really appreciated that. And then there's this one scene that literally just had my jaw like freaking drop on the floor, and it was the very end, not towards the end, last episode. Omni-Man is trying to teach freaking Mark a lesson, because he's trying to say like, hey, these Earthlings are puny, they're all gonna die in like 50 years kind of thing, they're all like, they won't live long. And because Mark is part Viltrumite, he can live for potentially thousands of years. So him and Omni-Man can live for a very long time, and he's trying to like break Mark. And so he throws him down into the ground, and they bust through like this subway station, and the subway's coming, and then freaking Omni-Man like grabs his face and like locks it in, and Mark's trying to get away, and he just like plows through this freaking subway, and it's just killing everybody. Drop a like on the video, and if you guys haven't already, become a subscriber, as we're going to be putting out more videos every single day, at least for the most part. And yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys thought of this. What was your favorite part? Definitely my favorite part of this whole thing was just that fight at the end with Mark and Omni-Man. It was so friggin' epic and brutal, and I friggin' loved it. Anyways, guys, we'll catch you guys on the next one. We'll see ya.